What about this lovely cake with lemons and oranges? Do you like it? Well, I'm gonna show you step by step how to make it. And if you're here for the first time on my channel, my name is Dana, and I am passionate about cake, so I want to show you step by step how I made this lovely one. I'm gonna start with a sponge cake, for which I'm gonna use 5 eggs, 120 grams of sugar, 150 grams of flour, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 10 grams of baking powder. I'm gonna start mixing flour and baking powder first, making sure this way that the cake is gonna bake and rise evenly. Next, I'm gonna separate the eggs. I'm gonna put the whites in the mixer bowl. We'll add a pinch of salt over whites, and I'm gonna start mixing them at low speed in the beginning, increasing after a minute or so. And when they gonna increase in volume and get whiter, I'm gonna add gradually the sugar and continue to mix until we're gonna have a lovely meringue, super nice and shiny. I'll add the extract now. I do it by eye, of course. And next, I'll incorporate the yolks. And look how lovely the color of these yolks is. So gradually, I'm adding them in my meringue, incorporating them. And the last thing, of course, dry ingredients, the flour with baking powder that we mixed earlier. Incorporate the flour well without over mixing, and pour the batter in the cake frame. And I will use a spatula to level it nicely. Try to level it in an even layer, as you see me do here, using this silicone spatula. And air bubbles, I will remove them using this bamboo stick or a toothpick just running through the batter. This way we level a bit more the batter too, but also take out the air bubbles. I'm gonna bake these at 170 Celsius for 15 minutes in a convection oven with a fan on in the middle of the oven. If your oven needs a classic one, bake it a bit longer, about 20-25 minutes. Do a toothpick test, making sure that it's nice and baked. And this is how it looks after. And now I'm gonna make the filling. And for filling I need 800 milliliters of milk, 1 teaspoon of lemon extract, 2 sachets of lemon pudding, each one having 40 grams, the juice and the zest from 1 lemon, 10 grams of gelatin granule, and 175 grams of sugar. First I'm gonna have to hydrate the gelatin, so I have it here in a bowl and I'm gonna cover it with milk. And in a pot I'm gonna pour the content of those lemon pudding sachets. And I will mix them with the sugar, and I'm gonna pour the rest of the milk over, mixing the pudding powder with sugar. I make sure that I will not have any lumps and clumps in my filling. I will grate the lemon zest because we're gonna need it. Only the yellow part, the white is bitter, so try with long strokes on the fine grater to remove as much as the yellow lemon zest. And also juice the lemon after. On the stove, cook the milk with pudding on low fire, mixing with a whisk all the way until it's getting nice and thick. Take it off the stove and add the gelatin that rehydrated, and because the filling is now hot, you don't need to melt the gelatin to incorporate it. Just add it over there and make sure to mix everything together nicely, and the gelatin will dissolve. And to give this really nice lemony flavor, I'm gonna add that juice that we made earlier. And don't forget the lemon zest. And now I'm gonna add lemon extract as well after I took it off the stove. I'm gonna pour this filling in a bowl and let it cool down a bit. I don't want it to get cold, to be super cold, just to chill a bit, not to be this hot. Don't let it cool down completely, because that gelatin will take over, and your filling will take the shape of the ball, and you will have to deal with that. You cannot fix that. Okay, I'm gonna cover it with cling film because I don't want that skin to form on top, and just let it 30 minutes or so to chill a bit. Because the sponge cake cooled down, I'm gonna remove the frame and the silicone mat. And using this cake wire, I'm gonna slice the cake horizontally in half. If you don't have these, you can just use a long thin knife if you have, and just cut it in 2 equal parts. Okay, I struggle a bit, but in the end worked. So yeah. I think with a knife would have worked better, but I don't have a knife this long. See? It's working, it's working. When lemon filling cool down, just add it over the one of the slices. So it's still warm, the filling, not totally cold, but just chilled up a bit. So I'm gonna be able to level it and let it set on that slice of sponge cake. Now let's make the orange jello, and for this I'm gonna need 4 sachets of transparent jello. Each of these sachets have 8 grams. And I have fresh blood oranges, as you can see, and I want in the end to have 700 milliliters of juice, and I'm gonna use the juice and the pulp of the oranges, and the zest from 1 lemon and the juice from it as well. I'm not gonna add sugar because the orange juice is pretty sweet, but you can give it a taste, and if you want to add a bit more sugar, you can do that, of course. Look how pretty they are. So I'm just gonna juice them, as you can see, and remove only the seeds, if any, and keep the juice and the pulp. Zest the lemon. And add that zest over the orange juice. Add that lemon juice as well, And as you can see, we have 700 milliliters of juice. In a pot, I'm gonna mix the content of those jello sachets with orange and lemon juice. And according to directions of the jello, I have to cook this on the stove to boil it actually for 1 minute. After that, it's just gonna cool and set really fast. So pour all the juice, all the content of the jello, and bring it on a boil on the stove for 1 minute. And I let it cool down just for 1 minute and pour it over the lemon filling. I'm trying not to pour it all at once because it's still hot, so I want to keep the underneath layer nice and leveled, as you can see. And I poured all the jello over, and this will take just a few minutes to cool down and set. So I will place on top the other slice of sponge cake that we have left, and let the cake to cool down completely now. And I'm gonna decorate it with some whipping cream. I have here 200 grams of unsweetened whipping cream, and I will add 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar to bring a bit of sweetness. And I'm gonna set it with 1 sachet of whipping cream stiffener. If you don't have this, just use 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and you'll be good. Whisk the whipping cream. I kept it in the fridge so it's nice and cold. It's gonna whip up really fast. Start with a low speed on your mixer. I'm using an immersion blender with a whisk, and increase the speed. Add powdered sugar and that cornstarch. Whip by it like that in one serving kind of thing, and whisk it really good. And I'm gonna use this on top of the sponge cake. Spread it and level it nicely on top of the cake. Grate a bit of lemon zest on top after you spread the whipping cream, and keep the cake in the fridge until next day. It's gonna set, and you're gonna be able to slice it nicely. I hope you enjoy the this recipe and you're gonna give it a try, and if you do, please leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up to this recipe, and I have lots of others that you can try out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'm gonna see you here next time with another recipe. Until then, find reasons to smile. Have a nice day. Bye bye.